Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kate up here. So, every single time as a designer, when you take on new projects, there is something they can learn from, rather if that is, learning from the existing design or you starting a new project and then figure out another way to make your project better than the last one. And so recently I have started a contract with Google. So like I'm working on some of the Google screen, and of course, Google is one of the biggest company in the world and one companies that I admire the most. And like working on the Google screen right now, definitely I am like a junior beginner, right? Because I don't really understand how the whole thing is created, and I'm still learning a lot from other designers at Google, and definitely everybody at Google, they're better than what right? Because like they've been in the product for a long time, so there's the learning curve is definitely huge, and I just get to admire a lot about like the whole Google design system and like how their file gets structured and like the aesthetic of their products and like basically every single thing about the UI and UX design at Google is just very very good. And like so in my video, like in this one, I just want to kind of share my learning, right? Like as a designer, like I said, I've been continuously improving, and single thing that I learn, new things, I'm gonna share on my channel. So I just kind of want to share like what I recently have been doing a lot at Google, and then like what is my learning so far, and how can that benefit you as a designer as well. So in this video, particularly, I want to focus on the Google spacing method, and so this is one of those, like how to like level your design skill video. So if you are like me, right, if you geek out on all these like little details about the UI, and I think every UI designer should be geeking out on like the details, because like if you're not pixel perfect, right, then your design will never be at the very professional level. So knowing all the system is definitely going to be helpful for you. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is the spacing method. If you look at my screen here, so Google has a thing called material design. So material design is definitely not new, and if you are a designer as well, you will 100% heard of it, but I'm not sure if a lot of people are following this rule, because like a lot of projects that I take on, there's no like even nothing guidelines set yet. But I do work on a lot of projects that are actually using this method. But before I joined Google, I wasn't really sticking to it like a Bible. But right now, after I use it, I just find it is very, very helpful. And I just want to spread this good kind of like design disciplines with you guys. So what this method is about, right? So basically, this method will help you to align your content a lot better. So instead of you just dragging your element to like a random number, so there's a grid that you can stick to now. So like the grid is basically the 8 pixel grid for the most part. So 8 pixel grid line, or the 4 pixel if you're working on icons and stuff. So like it's either 4 or 8, but like when you multiply it, they're actually all the same thing. So 8 pixel, when you think about it, right? So everything multiplied by 8 would be like 8, and then 16, and then 24, and then 32, and then 40, 48, so on and so forth, right? So everything is multiplied by 8 right now. So how do you actually apply this to your design, right? So I'm gonna talk about just the theory, and then in the second half of the video, I'm actually gonna design a screen, a mobile screen, a very quick kind of wireframey screen, using this method, so you can see how this method can be applied to your designs as well. It's matter if that is mobile, or it could be website as well, desktop app. So the spacing again, right, it's all like 8, 16, 4, or 4 if it's icon, right? So if you look at this pattern here, before when you're thinking about, hey, how wide should the padding be in this button, right? And you may just think that like what does it matter, right? I'm just gonna drag a random number, but it actually matters when you just drag a random number, right? Your developer is gonna have a hard time figuring out like the spacing rule, right? Because like if it's random number, there's no rule. But if you have like a fixed number, a fixed multiply method system, right, then they know that if this is not 8, this is going to be 16. If it's not 16, it's going to be 24. So instead of a random number, they have something that they can stick to and make your whole design system a lot better as well. So people looking at it wouldn't be like, hey, why this button here has like this width and another button has that width? It's just not consistent. So for consistency's sake, it's a lot better to have a system to stick to, and this is how it works. So here you can see that this is probably 18, and then 8, and then 24, right? The button could be 20, it could be like 4, multiplied by 4, right? 4 buttons. And so when you're designing a screen, right, like the spacing between that could be like 24, and then this could be 16, and then 24, And then for your header, it will be just multiplied by 8, right? So 56 here, 24, and then 88. Again, like it doesn't have to be 88, it could be like a little bit more, but it's just that you have to stick to that like 8 by 8 system here. So that's just pretty much it, right? Just showing you, how the whole thing can resize, right, based on that system. And then another thing is very helpful too is most of the time when you're using kind of images on your screen, on your UI elements, you may just drag like a random image box, right? So you don't really have a rule for that image box, but there's actually a rule to it that you can stick to, right? It's either by like 16 by 9. It could be like the YouTube video format is, I believe, is 16 by 9, but there's a lot of things that is rule set already, so you can definitely stick to that instead of a random ratio. So 16 by 9, 3 by 2, 4 by 3, 1 by 1, 3 by 4, 2 by 3. Just remember this. I'll tell you how to exactly use it in your design, at least like the way I use it. And then so on and so forth. So that is basically the theory, right? So how does it actually apply to my work right now? And I'll just show you, right? So like this is not only apply to Google, because like honestly, Google doesn't even let you to create a screen from scratch. They already have like all the components, so you're dragging components around. But like if I'm designing a screen from scratch, right, that's probably what I would do if I'm applying the system to my work, right? So first of all, just use a screen. I'm gonna pick this one, 375. I think it's still pretty standard for like UI design for mobile right now. So now you have a screen right here, right? So how does it, start creating stuff, right? So first of all, just me personally, I'm definitely going to be using a grid. So to set up a grid, you just go here and then change your grid to columns. And then so for mobile screen, for column is pretty standard. And then you check out stretch, basically stretching all the way to the edge of your display. And then so for the margin, right now for the margin, you know the drill, right? It's either 8 or 16 or 24, right? So in this case here for mobile, I'll probably pick 16. But sometimes if you want to resize it like all the way to the edge, you can choose like 8. That's also possible. I'm just gonna pick 16 for now. And then your gutter size, again, right, stick to the system, which is gonna be either 16 or 24 or 8, right? In this case, I'm gonna do 16 for now. So that is our grid right here. So making all those like status bar and stuff, right? Again, like this is only gonna be a wireframe type of design, not like the full one. So I'll just do like 24, because if you go back here, status bar, right? Here is 24, right? So I'm just gonna stick to 24 for this one. Right here, it's pretty standard, right? You don't have to redesign all this like status bar. Just keep it to 24. I think like it's just true for like Android and Apple as well. So again, like 24 for status bar, and then for the header bar, you'll pick 65, which is what recommended in here. 56, not 65, 56. So here you have the status bar, and then so I will just pick a color. And then for my fonts, right, for my test, I'm just gonna type out title in here. So title for test, probably like on this header module, I would just do, like 18 point. I think it works pretty well. And then for the height box, I'm gonna drag it to 24 just to match this kind of whole system. And then so, gonna do it with. And recently, I love a font called Notosense. So Notosense is actually from Google. So I'm just gonna use the whole Google thing. So title. And then so sometimes you can align your title to the center part, you can align your title to the edge, but for this one I'm just going to do the center part, right? And then in the edge, you can set up an icon, so some icon can go to the side, right? So icon, a very quick way to do icon, actually, I can kind of introduce this whole like Google material symbol to you guys. So all the icon right now, I'm just finding it from this Google symbol library, and they have a ton of icon. And the good thing about that is, basically you cover all the grounds about icon. So if your icon want to be rounded, this has the rounded style. If it has to be sharp, it has a sharp style. And then the best thing about this too is, you can choose your weight. Some of your icon you want to be thinner, some of your icon you want to be, more bold, and they have everything that you can ever customize an icon. So this is basically just cover all the grounds. And then another crazy things about that too is sometimes if your icon is on like a very, very small size, and then you can choose the grades, basically making your icon to adapt to different type of scenario that you're using it on. So very perfect. And the good news about that is they have a Figma plugin that you can just quickly pull up. So it's right here. So for this one, I'll just choose back. So I want to go back, and then optimal size, I'll just choose 24 for this one, right? So sorry, 20 pixel for this one. So all the way to the edge, 20 pixel, right? And then align it. And then I probably need a menu icon as well. So menu icon, just pull it up right here, right? And then go all the way to the edge as well. Yeah, for this menu icon, actually I'm not sure. Yeah, I think the menu icon can actually be 24. Let me just quickly pull it up again. Menu. Yeah, I think this icon can be 24 pixel. I think it's fine. So I'm gonna keep it like that, right? Oops. So now when you have a grid to 60, right, you know how to organize your content. So that's why the grid is very, very important when you're thinking about your page layout, right? Without a grid, you're just basically aligning it everywhere. So now down below there, I want to have a title. So again, right, I don't have any style set up yet, but what is this? What is this? Oh, that is for my other project. But it's fine. I'm just gonna quickly do something on my own. So I'm gonna call it a page title, and then do it like that, right? Just make it like gray, right? And then give like the page title like that. And now the trick is, whenever you're doing this kind of title thing right now, you want to make sure that this alignments between the top and bottom is consistent, right? So for this one, I'm just gonna align it to 24. So every single thing right now, you know how to align your element instead of just letting flow somewhere around the page like randomly like that, right? You know how to align to, right? If you don't know how to pull up this like red line, just hold down Option, then you can see the red line right there. All right. So I'm gonna do like 24 for this one page title, right? And then I'm gonna do my body fonts. So body font, I'm just gonna choose like 14 points. I need some like dummy tasks, so I just go to my dummy task grabber, and then choose some dummy tasks right here. Right, going back here, put it down there again. Right, stick it to the grid. Stick it to the grid. Don't let it go out. Right, and then so your title and stuff can be left aligned. I'm just gonna do left aligned for this one. For the weights, right now recently I found 150% or 160 is pretty good. So just keep that in mind. So right now when you're doing this, right, make sure that again align it properly, right? I think 16 points kind of makes sense for this one, or 8 point if you feel too wide, right? Just do it 8. Yeah, I think 8 point is good enough. Okay, so now I have a title, I have a body font, and this is all like A24, right? So that's good. Now I want to do my image, right? I want to put a big image down below here. So how would I do that, right? So remember the method in here, 16 by 9, 3 by 2, right? So I kind of want this image to be 16 by 9, and how I would do it is just like put 16 by 9, right? Then I have that aspect right here. And then I know that once when I drag it, then that will be, the 16 by 9 grid, right? So there I have an image box that is 16 by 9. Again, make sure that you align to the content above it. So 24 here is great. So that's good. That's good enough, right? That's good enough. And then now I want to have some like content down below here, right? I want to have like, a list item that people can pick stuff from. So again, I'll duplicate this title bar. Again, right, following the grid. Right here, right, like 24, and then I probably don't need this one to be that big. So title, maybe like 16 point title, right? And then I want to start having some of the icons. So again, image size, they have like 1 by 1 as well. Again, right, follow this, they have 1 by 1 too. So you go back and do 1 by 1. So 1 by 1 could be 50 times 50, right? Then that is how my bar I want it to look like, and I want it to like circle that is fine as well. Again, align it every single time. Make sure that your content is aligned, right? And then I will put this one to 14 point right now because I want this title to be a little bit smaller than the page title, or maybe like 18 for this one. So there's a contrast going on. So here randomly, instead of randomly aligning it, again, right, you want to make sure that it's fitting in with the whole design system that you built. So it would be 24 for this one for me, I think. Yep, 24 for this one. And then I can align this to 24 height, right? And then this is the list title, right? And then this will be the list body. But for the body fonts, I'm gonna use some of these stuff right here. Oh, actually, I think this could be a title. It could be a subtitle. All right, I'm just gonna do the subtitle. So the font wise, I'm gonna choose like 12. So again, right, like make sure that everything has to be within this design system. So here I would do like 4, right, and then probably instead of that, I'll do a little bit lighter color, right? That looks all right. 24, okay. And then I'll align the center, and boom, that is my list item, right? And then I'll duplicate that 16 points. If I feel like it's a little bit too wide, I'll go down by 8, right? I think I'm just gonna keep it 16 for now, right? And then just duplicate that 16. Ouch. Yeah, just duplicate that 16. And then that's pretty much it, right? So that could be my screen. Just very, very simple, right? Very, very simple screen. Then you can see how I'm using the system in my design, right? So everything is very much aligned right now. 16 point, 16 point, 24 point, 16 point, right? So this is what I mean by adapting to the whole design system. It just helps you to align your things very properly. So 16 to design. Oh, that actually should be 16. Yeah, so I'm missing like 1 pixel. See, like this 1 pixel is important. So make sure that you're matching every single thing. But yeah, that is what I'm talking about for this design system. And I think, like I'm applying it to my, mobile screen design. I'm applying the system to my web app design, or even like website design. So hopefully you can kind of learn something from this system as well. I think it's very, very helpful. If you like the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you love it, subscribe to my channel as well. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Cheers.